Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Terran versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on the map Submarine. Spawning here in the right bottom side, playing with, I guess, the teal Terran SCVs. Once again, man, the pro gamers have been mixing it up when it comes to the colors that they're playing with. From South Korea, we have the most dominant Terran player of the last couple of years, and he goes by the name of Maru. Maru has been having a bit of a he has been having a bit of a trickier time over the last few months. He looks a little bit more mortal. I mean, obviously he won all of those GSL Code S's in a row. He also ended up winning the GSL Super Tournament. I believe this was back in March, I want to say. Maybe it was April, I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, he's gonna go up against a relative newcomer who is now putting up a pylon right here outside of the natural expansion of the Terran. Terran actually now building a barracks also a little bit further away. This is already becoming a very interesting game. But in the opposite corner, playing with the yellow Protoss probes from the United States of America, we have none other than Astrea. And Astrea, I mean, he's gonna go for that double gateway shenanigans. One gateway inside of his main base, and then one gateway over at the site of the Terran. I noticed that little bit of probe movement there as well. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but obviously if he would have moved up that ramp from that direction, I mean, there's a chance that Maru would look at that right at that point, right, accidentally, or maybe he's just paying attention to the minimap. He might just be able to pick up that this is a proxy right from the get-go. As of right now, Maru should not really know anything. At the same time, though, Astrea doesn't really know very much either. He sees the lack of barracks inside of the main base. Once again, this doesn't mean a whole lot. There's a factory coming up right now, so he knows that there is a barracks out there somewhere. This is very common, though, to now plant your barracks literally anywhere else, just to hopefully make the Protoss player freak out. Now, this double gateway shenanigans, it's really critical. Oh my god, he's actually building an engineering bay over in the natural of the Protoss. Protoss is not going for a fast expo, my man. Yeah, this is... Oh my god, is he gonna scout it? It's really critical right now that he sees this. Oh, no. He's gonna go up north. He's looking for other proxies. Maybe a proxy Stargate or something along those lines. He noticed the lack of fast expo there on the low ground. He saw the cybercore in the main. He doesn't know precisely what's happening here, but Astrea is already marching one of those bad boys up the ramp. Was he producing anything else? Yeah, there is a second Reaper coming up, so that's going to make things a little bit easier. Now, at this point, you don't really have a whole lot to defend here. Reaper is going to come back home. SCV is going to come back home right now as well. Your best counter at this point is, well, using the boys, using the SCVs to hopefully... Ooh, he could have actually hold position that one. To hopefully get out of here, right? To force these units to leave. 2 SCVs going down so far. 3 SCVs for one Zealot. That's obviously okay, but you got to keep in mind the investment right here as well of all of that, you know, infrastructure. Love this over there. Beautiful control there by Maru. Using hold position there on the Hellions, getting the SCVs to wrap around as well. And he is going to be able to kill a Stalker there, but this pressure is certainly not done yet. Since he doesn't have like a tech lab or anything like that, right? That's the downside of putting that barracks outside of your main base. You can't really like switch over to anything here very easily. Additional Stalkers are coming up. There's also a Twilight Council here, so Astrea probably is going to be making that transition here very shortly towards that Blink Stalker upgrade that all those Protoss players at the highest level are currently very fond of. But I'm liking this position a lot, man. So this kind of looks like... Oh my god, beautiful grenade there once again. Nicely done. This kind of looks like old school StarCraft 2 when it first came out. I mean, this Widow Mine is kind of going to ruin the party here a little bit. Astrea's not going to be able to do much. But it kind of looks like StarCraft 2 when it first came out, but with much better micro. A lot of dumb build orders were played back then, and, well, over time, we started playing very fast expos. But in this game, once again, we have one base versus one base. Now, look at that, actually. Astrea is going to follow up his cheekiness. Can we call it cheekiness? I guess so. I mean, this is kind of meta right now, but love this, actually, to Adepts. They can bypass that Widow Mine quite easily. But he's going to follow up his cheekiness, not with... Oh my god, what's he doing? Yeah, you got to go after that. He probably expected him to cancel the shades there. Anyways, he probably is now also expecting this to be a Blink Stalker follow-up, but instead, I mean, he's sacrificing one of those bad boys to detonate the Widow Mine. Another Widow Mine, though, is coming out. Now, this Widow Mine... Oh my god, actually, this is a disaster. This Widow Mine is blocking this position. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, like, he needs to build a, I don't know, like a tech lab or a depot or something over there to make sure that the Dark Templar can't just actually warp in and just march into the main base. This happens every once in a while. We're gonna have to keep an eye out right here on this wall off. Because Terran players in general are very, very reluctant to lift up their structures if they don't absolutely need to. If he plants down a tech lab... Oh my god. Oh, no. It feels good to predict stuff when you're casting a game, I'm not gonna lie, but this is what always... Oh my god, that's not a wall. This would have been fine against Blink Stalker, which it probably would be 9 times out of 10 here, but there's already a Dark Templar. Now, will he see this little shimmer? No, there's no way. There's no way that he saw that. Oh my god. Stalker's actually set up in a line right there on the mini-map as well, so they're going to be able to catch this medevac here. He kills the medevac. Absolutely fantastic game so far. Recall into the main base, and here come the DTs. This is where Astrea is going to go, LOL. What is happening here? Oh my god, he still plays with the Diva announcer. I can't believe it. Missed opportunity, man. Should be playing with the Loco announcer instead. Regardless, here come the Hellions inside of the main base. They're going to potentially do a little bit of damage, but I think the real action right now is on these Dark Templar. Are they going to be able to go out of the scan radius? They are indeed. Scan obviously is going to run out very shortly. Looks like the Stalkers dealt with those units inside of the main base just fine. And Astrea takes a dominating advantage against the highest ranked Terran player in the world. That's so crazy. Oh my god. This is a disaster here for Maru, man. This is a Terran player being bullied right now. Nothing is going his way. Oh, he can get it, flying forward, dude. Oh my. Nothing's going his way, like I was trying to say. If you would have flown that Raven to watch the Widow Mines, pretty sure the Widow Mines would have connected with the Dark Templar here. This is not the most, efficient game here for the Terran player whatsoever. Nexus was acquired on the low ground here for Protoss. What's he gonna go with as a follow-up right now? Well, Blink is gonna be coming up here. Additional gateways as well. Now notice there's no there's no robo facility or anything like that. So he's probably gonna have to make that transition here towards some higher tech in just a little bit. Terran though did secure the expansion here eventually. He's now broken out of his own main base, which is fantastic too. But yeah, this is certainly not ideal. Whenever you're playing from behind in this matchup, it's very difficult, right? So Terran versus Protoss is usually the matchup where players are kind of even when it comes to their expansions, right? So for example, in pretty much all the Zerg games, I mean, Zerg tries to be 1 or 2 bases ahead of the opponent. If it's a Zerg versus Protoss or a Zerg versus Terran, you will pretty much always see the Protoss player or the Terran player being a base behind. In this matchup, usually it's a lot more even. I mean, Protoss has a tendency to expand a little bit quicker. But yeah, they usually... Oh my god, there's still one Dark Templar. What was that one? Huh? How did this one even get here? Shadow Stride is only just now coming up. I mean, it's not going to be able to stay here for very long, though. Blink at the same time, though. On top of the siege tank, we do see a couple of auto turrets coming down. I mean, apparently Astrea felt a little bit ballsy there. He felt that he could maybe even free that Dark Templar there in the back. Not gonna happen. And that was certainly a couple more losses that he was probably bargaining for here. Still like the way that Maru is playing this, though, right now. I mean, he's making the best of it, right? Like, it's been a rough situation, but I think at this point, he's kind of got his base airtight. I mean, what exactly are you going to be doing right now if you're a Protoss player? Love the positioning right here on the siege tank. I mean, if Stalkers decide to get fancy, they will get shelled at right away. This siege tank over here could also shell towards the high ground. Maybe the Stalkers can kind of go around to do a little bit of harassment there. That's good. I mean, he doesn't have that many bio units yet, so the third siege tank is going to be rolling down the ramp here as well. And that one is going to... well, it should be in range there to prevent some of this. Now, I like this a lot, man. Little moves like this make a difference. Doesn't seem significant at all, but since Astrea already does have that economical advantage, every single second right now that goes by, he's mining more stuff. And if then he can also, like, you know, deny mining time there for his opponent, I mean, the mules are nice and all, but they're not going to be able to catch up in that economy very easily at all. All right, so Shadow Stride is done. That's the Dark Templar Blink ability. A Banshee gets sniped in the middle of the map. This is probably Maru just trying to see if he can get lucky, trying to see if he can sneak out one of those units and force those Stalkers to go back home. It's not happening, man. I mean, I don't know if that was luck there by Astrea that he just stumbled upon that, or maybe he saw that something was not quite right, but yeah, he caught the Banshee there as well, and that will put Maru in a more defending position, or even a more, like, what do you call this, like defensive position than he already is. Double Engineering Bay is coming up, so it looks to me like Maru just wants to play this out with either like a big timing attack or just a standard macro game, right? He's basically written off the option for harassment altogether, so he's not going to be able to really deny his opponent's economy very much at all. I mean, maybe he can go for like a medevac drop here in a little bit, but all things considered right now, this is a little bit rough. There's one Marine right now that marched across the map. I think it took the northern path, and it managed to make its way towards the third base here of the Protoss, but it found the third base as it was already fully saturated. So as far as like damage done goes, I mean, a couple probes were killed here, but this has been a very, very tricky game for Maru. Right now, I think he's mostly, you know, like supply-wise, it's not really that bad, right? But it's just that Protoss can start exploding here in the supply count very easily. He may just be looking here to, you know, maybe grab a couple of Stalkers. I mean, if these Stalkers die for free, then all of a sudden Terran can just, you know, unsiege everything and go across the map. There's certainly an option there as well. And since this is still, I mean, an army composition that might be based around a bunch of Dark Templar too, having that Raven up in the air is nice too. He did also create the Orbital Command, which is good. But this is certainly, at this point, a game where Astrea is ahead. Now, how is Astrea following this up? Okay, so there's 4 High Templar inside of this prism. I did see the research right there as well for, yeah, Psionic Storm. So Psionic Storm is indeed done. That means that there are going to be at least like 4 storms available here for the High Templar inside of that prism. Which is not to be underestimated at all. I mean, one good storm right over here, for example, would allow the Protoss to probably close out this game right here, right now. The colors on the minimap are actually a little bit tedious, man. Like, can you change colors? Oh, what did I just do? Hold up. Okay, so this is a couple seconds back. Normally in multiplayer games, you can hit Alt plus F to change the colors, but sadly that option is not available in replays as far as I know. Here we go. High Templar drops. Oh my god! That's so much damage. I mean, that's a lot of low hit point SCVs. Could have been way worse. Very fast response time right there by Maru. He's making the best of it, man, but this is going from bad to worse, and I love this. Rather than pushing the issue, Astrea is just gonna expand behind this right now. This is actually quite brave. The thing is, I mean, Maru is by no means out of this game, right? I mean, it's looking really bad for him, but look at the supply counts. His macro is absolutely top tier, and he's about one, you know, good engagement away from winning this game. And I think a lot of people in this scenario would be absolutely terrified to play a macro game against freaking Maru. Like, this is Maru we're looking at right now, right? Maru is ridiculously good when it comes to playing this game. Astrea, though, apparently not worried at all. He could have decided to go for, like, a big timing attack and not expand towards the 4th base. But this kind of, like, you know, this shouts confidence at me. I really, really like this. Good move right here. Alright. Now, this damage, I mean, it's probably going to be nullified for the most part. A couple of Stalkers going down here. High Templar trying to see if maybe they can get that high ground storm. Not quite going to happen. Look at the spread here as well, all over the map, man. These are High Templar ready to go with a feedback on a Medivac to prevent that one from doing any proper damage on the other side of the map. Look at the spread here, man. This kind of reminds me of the way that Parting likes to play. Like, Parting is always out on the map. Usually with Stalkers, though. Like, Parting would be certainly a little bit more Stalker heavy. But, yeah, Maru has been up with his back against the wall for the entirety of this game so far. Now, last time that I casted a game of Maru, it was a very similar scenario. And, I mean, if you watch the game, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you. I guess I may have just slightly done that, but he's very strong in these positions, is what I'm trying to say. All right, anyways. It is going to be a second Robo facility here, and then a Robo Bay too. So he can make that transition now to go into either Colossi, or to, for example, go into, of course, Disruptors. Seems like Astrea is a big fan of the Disruptor. I think in every single game that I've casted of his so far, he has gone for Disruptors in one way or another. At this point, though, Terran does have the economy as well to go for the Enhanced Shockwaves ability. That's the Ghost EMP upgrade. One of the biggest improvements that the Terran army has had over the course of, like, I don't know, when was that? Like a year ago at this point? I mean, that buff, nobody really was talking about it at the time, but Enhanced Shockwaves, basically an EMP improvement. It turned out to be one of the sickest improvements for Terran players ever. It's such a big change. Anyway, so scans right now are revealing that indeed this Protoss player is on 4-base eco. A 4th command center was built as well by Maru, so Maru is just accepting the fate as it is. I also do want to compliment the way that Maru is playing this, because I think a lot of us would think about, you know, this position right here as like a very, very difficult one to win. He's even ahead right now when it comes to the supply count. Look at that. Astrea actually dropping the ball right now a little bit when it comes to that macro. Yeah, he actually hit a supply block there, so maybe a little bit nervous as well. Yeah, well, I mean, right now he's at 200, right? So he can finish Warpins very easily. But I think a lot of Terran players here would have gone for like an all-out assault as well. Maybe with like 2-2 upgrades and just, you know, hit that Protoss player in the face. I mean, upgrade-wise, This is a very, very strong Terran army, right? So 2-2 is finishing right as Protoss is moving across. 2-1 is done here for Astrea. But fighting into a sieged-up Terran position is very difficult. A couple of Zealots, though, available. They're going to be able to, well, apparently charge right there at the sensor tower. But this is still okay. A couple High Templar available as well. Nice feedbacks there. But the EMPs are still going to be quite helpful. It's a good deflection there by Maru, but he does lose a couple of siege tanks. Here come the Disruptors. They do deal damage to structures, by the way. One of the things that we don't see all too often, but apparently Astrea is breaking open the front door right now. Or at least he's attempting to. But Maru still playing extremely cautiously. Turtling as hard as he possibly can. Alright, so. Stargate is coming up. Additional High Templar are coming up. Additional Disruptors are coming up as well. Disruptors obviously fantastic. But you can also micro against them fantastically too, right? And it may sound a little bit strange, but I've seen a lot of games where, like, Protoss is maxed out. They have a bunch of Disruptors in the army composition. And if the Terran just micros well, it seems like it deals absolutely no damage at all. Like, it seems like the Disruptors just get shut down. So personally, I'm always, I don't know, I like seeing at least a couple of Colossi in the mix too. Just because you need a little bit, like, not necessarily luck. But if the opponent is real good, they can certainly deal with Disruptors quite well. There's a blink forward. Kills one of those tanks. Second tank probably will go down as well. Big EMPs, big storms once again happening too. Disruptors moving forward. Oh my god, good control so far once again here by Maru. But finally right now, there we go. Those last two Disruptor hits have been absolutely fantastic. Still, with all the Purification Novas right now off cooldown, apparently Astrea decides to back off. Oh my god, big Zealot warp in right over here. That's a lot of Zealots, by the way. There's like 20 Zealots up north with a couple High Templar. They're going to be able to make short work of a lot of this very easily, but there is a planetary fortress situated now at the 4th base, and that is going to make things a little bit tricky, right? You can't really go in there very easily at all. Well, here we go, apparently. He's still going to try. Big amount of Zealots. Are they going to be able to kill that? Looks like they will be able to kill that just fine. Nice bit of damage being done right here by Astrea. And you know what, guys? If you look at the minimap right now, I think Astrea is beating Maru here. I mean, I don't want to start cheering too early. Maru doesn't really lose a lot of games, and he's won many times from this position as well. But this is certainly right now Astrea's game to lose, which is so crazy. I mean, at the highest level, right? There's a couple players from North America that can compete. Like Neep, like for example Scarlet. But that's really where that list of players ends. And I would say neither Neep and Scarlet right now are considered to be like the tippity top of the skill level. Right? And it's been a little while since we've had a player from North America, be it the USA or Canada or whatever, right? It's been a little while since we had a player that could actually compete with the best of the best. This is sick. Is he breaking through this right now? Absolutely crazy moves here by Astrea. He's trying to force the issue right now, though, but a good defense here by Maru. Dude, this is why Maru is so scary, though. Look at the health here on these Protoss units. Some of them will be recalled right now. Astrea may have just overextended, man. He's being chased back right now by this Terran force. Such a resilient player. I would not want to play Maru. Maru seems to be like the most terrifying player in the world. He's been behind the entire game long, and for some reason, he's still capable of making this such a close engagement. Those EMPs, super helpful though, but I think that this base, yeah, this base is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Well, is it? More reinforcements are coming up. I mean, 1 or 2 Marauders at a time is nice. Oh my god. There are 12 Dark Templar. Do you go after the SCVs or do you go after the command center? Oh my god. Ooh. If you can kill, like, I think this is like 2 or 3 swipes by the Dark Templar to kill the orbital command. I don't know exactly what Maru's response time is. It depends as well on how busy he is. So if you can, like, force him to, like, respond in one location and then go in with the Dark Templar. There it is, there it is, there it is. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Base is gone. He couldn't lift it up in time. Orbital command has disappeared. Still though, this Protoss army right now, I mean, he was trying to force the Terran player to make a move and probably distract him from looking at that orbital. The Dark Templar though is still going to town. I mean, that fight there was certainly better for Maru than it was for Astrea. But at this point, Maru is running out of money. I mean, the main base in a natural, yeah, well, there's no main base anymore. I mean, I guess there's a couple structures over here, but there's no, you know, command center mining anything. Third base is running out as well because that's where all the mules have been dropped, right? So Mules are great and all when it comes to, like, grabbing resources real fast, but at this point, Maru is, I think, dead in the water. Now, one option you always have as Terran, right, is to bring the boys. The boys may not look very menacing, they may not be particularly powerful, but they can be pretty helpful in some of those scenarios. Astrea, in the meantime, securing the top section of the map. I mean, there's not going to be a Terran push in this direction anytime soon. Astrea right now ahead as well when it comes to the supply counts. Or rather, like, the army supply counts. So even though Maru does have a scary force, needs to be very careful. Is he just going to move up this ramp right now? I think he is. Here we go. Astrea is smelling blood in the water. Additional Terran units, though, are stimming from the third base up towards that ramp that leads to the natural expansion. The Dark Templar that sniped that orbital command earlier. Oh my god! They also joined the fray. Massive disruptor hit to bring it home. And there it is. Astrea just beat Maru. What a sick game. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, hit that like button down below. Maybe, you know, I know there's going to be a couple Terran players here that are watching this that are like, oh my god, Lowko, you're so Protoss biased. Look, here's the thing. I've seen many, many Maru games over the years. And I've seen a handful of games where Maru loses. He wins like 80 to 90% of the games where he seems to participate. It's actually ridiculous. So to see a relatively new Protoss player, right? And obviously a player from NA, which is not really a region that has been dominating in quite some time. It's exciting. These are exciting times. It's been a little bit since we've had like new blood at the top level in StarCraft 2 and Astrea. He's living up, man. He's living up to the hype. I'm excited to see where this man is going to go. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.